Hi, today's topic for discussion is phage therapy. So recently this phage therapy was in news. So why this was in news? But yes, thing is people are searching for some other thing to counter this antimicrobial resistance. So after this COVID and all, we all know that the term virus, it creates a bit of a fear among people, especially after this COVID fiasco and all these things. It creates a bit of a fear amongst people. And yes, it was a very big global health concern, and all these things were happening. But not all virus are bad. They are not causing. But yes, generally we associate viruses to various diseases. Like there is this polio virus which caused polio, and we have this COVID virus. There are various other types of viruses that cause further complicated diseases. But not all viruses are bad. There are also good viruses that can be efficiently used, in our day-to-day life, or they can be used to counter medical emergencies, and all these things can help. So yes, after COVID, we all know this COVID was a very big pandemic, but one silent pandemic that has been going on around the world for a past decade or so is that of the antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is nothing but bacteria and other antimicrobes. They are becoming resistant to the drugs that have been used by us to counter them. So this is what AMR is, and in this line of discussion there is a new thing, not a new thing, but it has been studied earlier, but yes, it is gaining traction now. It is newly gaining traction. That thing is called as the phage therapy. The phage therapy is premised upon this thing called as the bacteriophage. So bacteriophage, yes, the name starts with bacteria, but it's not a bacteria, it's a virus. It is a virus. The literal meaning of the term bacteriophage is bacteria eater. So this is a virus that eats bacteria or kills bacteria, or lyses in medical terms. In biological terms, they call it as lysis, Lyses. They call it as these bacteriophages lyse bacteria. So this is what bacteriophages are, and these bacteriophages are being researched upon to use in everyday lives to counter antimicrobial resistance. Yes, there are flaws, there are pros, we will see that, but yes, this is being researched. So yes, use of virus to kill bacteria is known as bacteriophage, or known as the phage therapy. Or how do these bacteriophages kill bacteria? How do these bacteriophages kill bacteria? So these bacteriophages, what they do is that these are viruses. These virus particles, they bind with the bacteria. Bind in the sense, this is the bacteria. This binds with, this is the virus, it binds with the bacterial cell. It gets inside. It will inject itself into this bacterial cell and replicate there. It will use the resources of the bacteria, and it will replicate there. And once lot of amounts of viruses are being replicated and multiplied, what will happen is that this bacteria will break and die, releasing a lot of virus. This will happen. So this is what phage therapy is, how viruses are used to kill bacteria. So this happens a lot. This happens not only a particular bacteria, but all other types of bacteria. If the same bacteria is in numbers, it is in thousands or hundreds or thousands also. These viruses, they can get into all these bacterial cells and kill all these bacterial cells. So once if these bacteria are killed, the bacterial diseases will also slowly recede. So this is what the phage therapy is. This bacteria, this particular virus, it is not harmful to humans. Not harmful in the sense, it does not lead to greater complications. It will not lead to greater complications, but yes, minor side effects may be there, and again it is being researched, but it will not lead to further large scale complications. So that is one thing, because these bacteriophages, they eat only bacteria, they kill only bacteria, they eat and kill only bacteria, and they are inactive outside the bacteria. They hibernate, they are inactive outside the bacteria, so there is no issue for affecting humans. So that is what this bacteriophage is. So this is how the bacteriophage works. Now this has been debated a lot, but this might gain traction now, but around 100 years back and all, these bacteriophages have been in constant practice and constant usage and all these things were happening, yes. But after the discovery of penicillin, this talk or this research on phage therapy, it slowly resided, it slowly rescinded to the back door, and all these things were happening. Yes, and now certain countries like Georgia, like Germany has newly started research. Georgia has already been using that. Ukraine has used it. Russia, basically the USSR countries use phage therapy a lot. All these things were happening. Now we'll see what are the advantages or what are the merits and demerits of the phage therapy. So yes, moving on to the merits, we have first is that new tool in the sense we all know that antimicrobial resistance is rendering all our antibiotics useless. It is rendering all our antibiotics useless, so we need new tools in the arsenal. We need new tools or new weapons to attack such microbes or such superbugs. And one thing that can be used when it comes to bacteria is that of the bacteriophages that can easily be used to counter a bit of the antimicrobial resistance, a part of the antimicrobial resistance. So that is one thing. And the other thing is natural and less toxic. When it comes to antibiotics, yes, most of the antibiotics like penicillin and all, it is derived from natural sources only, but there are also other players there, other chemical compositions there. But when it comes to bacteriophages, these are natural. Viruses are natural organisms. Yes, they are inactive outside the host, but they occur in nature and are also less toxic. The side effects are very minimalistic. So this is again another merit for phage therapy. They are natural in occurrence and they are less toxic also. It will not lead to a large scale side effects. And the thing is single and auto dosing. So single dosing in the sense one single dose of these bacteriophages is enough to kill an entire gamut of bacterial cells. Single dosing means we all know how virus seeps into the bacteria and multiplies there. It will also use the hardware of the bacteria to multiply itself, and it will eventually kill the bacteria. So even a single bacteriophage is enough to kill one entire gamut of bacteria. So that is what single dosing is. And auto dosing is that it replicates, right? It self replicates. That is what auto dosing. So single and auto dosing is also, it does not need a lot of complications, a lot of injections and all. It will just need, even a single dosing is enough. That is another merit for phage therapy. And low resistance. Yes, the resistance concept is high usage of antibiotics will lead to resistance, right? So this is what the concept. But when it comes to bacteriophages, this is the natural way of things, the natural proceedings. These are all just natural proceedings that happen in nature. And yes, resistance to such bacteriophages, I will not say it is completely not there, but the resistance is very low. So let us take this very good example, very small and very comical example. If a bacteria takes around 10 days to become resistant to antibiotics, it will not take such a short period, but yes, we are taking an example, right? So it will take only 10 days to become resistant to an antibiotic. It will take around 60 or 70 days to become resistant to bacteriophages, and these things are very low. This resistance is also very low. They can easily be affected by using bacteriophages of higher levels and all. So yes, low resistance. Antimicrobial resistance can easily be warded off and easily be affected or easily be tackled by using bacteriophages. And versatile application. Versatile application in the sense there are a lot of application from various ways and various methods. These bacteriophages can be applied. They can be applied in combination with antibiotics. They can be applied in the form of creams. They can be applied in the form of liquids. And they can be applied, they can be impregnated or injected into the skin also, and all these things can happen. Now all these versatile approaches are there when it comes to the usage of bacteriophages. So there is no one single thing such as the vaccine or tablets, but there are also other uses, other versatile approaches through which bacteriophages or the phage therapy can be administered. So these are the basic merits of the phage therapy. But yes, even though there are these merits, but roses comes with thorns, right? There are also certain demerits, but these demerits can easily be tackled. Yes, that is the level of bacteriophages can easily be tackled. Yes, but there are a lot of demerits also. The thing is, not all are therapeutic. Yes, there are a lot of bacteriophages. There is a lot of bacteriophages, but the thing is, not all can be used in therapy. Not all can be used to attack certain bacteria. This cannot be done. There are particular bacteriophages that do not affect the human body, and at the same time kill bacteria effectively and efficiently. So these are the bacteria that we need, and these are the bacteriophages that we need, and these are the bacteriophages that can be used, and not all bacteriophages can be used. So yes, that is one thing to be noted. And a narrow host range. Narrow host range in the sense a particular bacteriophage. There are a lot of bacteriophages, but a particular bacteriophage affects only a particular type of, or a particular species of, or a particular genera of bacterium or bacteria. It has a very narrow host range. Narrow host range, it will attack only a certain species or a certain genus of bacteria. Cannot be used for every bacteria that exists. So that is what narrow host range is. We need a lot of other bacteriophages also. So what people do there is that they use this thing called as phage cocktails, bacteriophage cocktails. Bacteriophage cocktails in the sense it is a combination of various other bacteriophages that can be used. One bacteriophage will not be used, but a cocktail of various bacteriophages will be used. Yes. So that is what narrow host range. It can be easily tackled by using phage cocktails. Difficult to prepare, and these things are difficult to prepare. We have to find the correct amount of bacteriophage that we need, and we need to find the correct bacteriophage that attacks this particular bacteria. There are a lot of, in fact there are trillions of bacteriophages present. So finding the right one might be a humongous task. It might be an Herculean task. So that there are some issues there. Finding the right medicine for the right bacteria, or right bacteriophage for the right bacteria. So that is again an issue here. So yes, we saw that the next demerit is resistance possibility. Resistance possibility in sense, here in the marriage we saw there is low resistance. That is, there is a chance, there is a possibility of resistance, right? There is, I am not saying that there is no resistance at all, but there is a little possibility, and this, if happens, it can also lead to AMR. It can also, but yes, there is the possibility is very little, it is very minuscule, but the thing is there is a possibility, and it cannot be cancelled, or it cannot be foregone, or it cannot be forgotten, the resistance possibility of bacteriophages. That is, bacteria becoming resistant to bacteriophages. That is evolution, right? If you give something, they know how to attack it. So that is what evolution is, that there is a possibility of resistance also. And again, another thing is immune imbalance. Immune imbalance in the sense, these bacteriophages, they can lead to immune imbalances in our bodies. It can lead to diseases. It can lead to diseases within ourselves. The thing is, yes, they affect the body very lowly, very minuscule, on a very lower level. But the thing is, there is a possibility that these bacteriophages can make our own immune cells attack our bodies. This can happen. This is a possibility that has been researched. So all these things can happen. So these are the various demerits of bacteriophage therapy also. But yes, we have seen the merits and demerits. So that is what this article has to offer. Thank you.